Old age is a journey full of challenges, where anxieties and suffering can easily weigh down our hearts and leave us feeling weary and confused. Fears about the future, loneliness, or changes in our bodies can make us feel insecure and hopeless. But in times like these, Jesus has taught us precious lessons about love, peace, and trust in God's unconditional care. We don't need to worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will take care of itself. Matthew 6 verse 34. Let us live in the present. Love one another as Christ has loved us. John 13 verse 34. And find peace in our hearts through purity and trust in the Lord. Matthew 5 verse 8. These teachings are not mere theories, but principles of living that can transform our lives into one of peace and hope. Follow this video as we dive deeper into the valuable advice Jesus has for the elderly, so you can overcome life's challenges and find comfort within. May each person receive God's blessings, always finding peace and joy in every day they live. In a world that often feels chaotic and divided, there's a simple yet profound message that echoes through the ages. Love one another as I have loved you. John 13 verse 34. These words, spoken by Jesus, carry a depth of meaning that resonates with all of us, regardless of age, background, or circumstance. It is a call to action, a call to love in a way that transcends the usual boundaries we place around ourselves and others. Think for a moment about the people around you, the ones you love, the ones you struggle to love, and the ones who may feel like strangers in your life. How often do we truly embody the love that Jesus spoke of? This love is not reserved for only those who are easy to love, nor is it conditioned upon someone's actions or status. No, this love is unconditional. It's the kind of love that doesn't seek to gain anything in return. It's the kind of love that can heal wounds, soften hearts, and bridge gaps that seem insurmountable. But in our busy lives, it's easy to forget. We become preoccupied with the demands of the day. Work, family, health, and all the pressures that come with living in a fast-paced world. Yet, in the midst of it all, we are called to something greater, to love as Jesus has loved us, to love without reservation, to love those who are difficult to love, to offer kindness to those who might not deserve it, and to show grace to those who need it most. Let's face it, loving others, especially when they don't meet our expectations, isn't always easy. There are moments when we're hurt, frustrated, or simply exhausted. How do we love in those moments? How do we share love when we feel like we're running on empty ourselves? The answer isn't always clear, but the strength to love comes from knowing we're not alone in this journey. We are empowered by the very love that Jesus gave us, love that never gives up, never fades, and never runs out. If we are honest, we all have moments of struggle. There are days when loving others feels like a challenge we just can't overcome. Maybe it's someone in your life who has hurt you, or maybe it's someone you simply don't understand. Maybe it's the weight of your own personal struggles that make it hard to see beyond your own pain. But here's the truth. Even in those moments, God calls us to love. And this love isn't just for the other person, it's for us too. It heals us, it strengthens us, and it brings us closer to the heart of God. In the grand scheme of life, it can feel like a small act to love someone. Yet, when we choose to love, we are participating in something much larger than ourselves. We are following in the footsteps of Jesus, and we are choosing to bring His presence into our daily lives. This love isn't about perfection. It's about intention. It's about the choice to offer kindness even when we don't feel like it, to show grace when it would be easier to hold a grudge, and to extend compassion when we want to turn away. Let's remember, loving others is a practice, not a destination. It's something we grow into little by little, day by day. And sometimes that means showing love to ourselves first, giving ourselves grace when we fall short, and understanding that we are all on a journey. We will never perfectly love as Jesus did, but the beauty of it is that we don't have to. Jesus knew we were human. He knew we would struggle. That's why He made this commandment not just about the destination of perfect love, but about the journey of love itself. If we truly embrace this kind of love, we'll find that it changes us in ways we didn't expect. We become more compassionate, more patient, and more forgiving. And as we love others in this way, we start to see the world differently. We begin to notice the needs of those around us, and we realize that every person we encounter is a chance to reflect God's love. Whether it's through a simple smile, a kind word, or an act of service, we have countless opportunities every day to love as Jesus loved us. So, as we reflect on these words, love one another as I have loved you, let's ask ourselves, how can we do this more fully in our own lives? How can we choose love, even when it feels difficult? And how can we extend this love to those who need it most, even if they don't seem to deserve it? The answer is simple. We do it one step at a time, one act of kindness at a time. And as we do, we'll find that love, in all its power and beauty, will change not just the world around us, but also our own hearts. Let this be the foundation of our lives, and let us share this love with everyone we meet, knowing that as we love, we become more like the one who loved us first. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Matthew 6 verse 34. These simple yet profound words from the Bible remind us that, in the midst of life's challenges and uncertainties, there is a greater force at work that calls us to trust in God's providence. In our world today, it's easy to become consumed by the weight of what's ahead. We worry about what tomorrow will bring: our health, our jobs, our relationships, and the future of those we love. These worries often pull us out of the present moment, distracting us from the blessings and opportunities that exist right now. But Jesus calls us to a different way of living. He invites us to release our grip on the unknown and trust that He will provide for us, just as He has always done. Think about the times in your life when you found yourself worrying about something in the future, whether it's a big decision, an upcoming challenge, or the fear of something going wrong. How many times has that worry been so overwhelming that it overshadowed your ability to live fully in the present? The truth is, most of the things we worry about never come to pass, and the rest we can handle when the time comes. But in our anxiousness, we often forget this simple truth. God is with us, and He has always been faithful to meet our needs, whether it's in times of joy or difficulty. Living in the present doesn't mean that we ignore the future or abandon our responsibilities. It simply means that we let go of the need to control every outcome. It means that we trust that, as we take each day step by step, God is guiding us through the unknowns. When we choose to live in the present, we are choosing to place our trust in the hands of the one who knows the future and who holds all things together. It's not always easy, is it? We live in a world that values planning and preparing for what's ahead, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when we start to carry the weight of tomorrow's problems today, we rob ourselves of the peace that God intends for us to experience. Jesus knew that we would face worries. He didn't sugarcoat life or promise that it would be without struggle. But He did promise that, no matter what we face, He would be there with us. His invitation to live without worry isn't a call to irresponsibility. It's a call to trust in His faithfulness. How often do we let our minds race ahead, imagining all the possible outcomes of a situation, trying to prepare for every worst-case scenario? And in doing so, we become overwhelmed by the very things we can't control. It's a natural response to life's uncertainties, but it's not the way God intends for us to live. He wants us to find peace in the present, to trust that He will provide for our needs, and to rest in the knowledge that He is in control. Have you ever noticed how, when we're fully present in a moment, whether it's with a friend, a family member, or in a quiet moment of reflection, we find peace? It's in those moments that we can truly experience life as it was meant to be. When we let go of the anxieties of tomorrow and focus on today, we find that we are more connected, more grateful, and more aware of the blessings around us. This is the life God wants for us. A life that is not defined by fear or anxiety, but by trust in His care. In the hustle and bustle of our busy lives, it's easy to forget that God is already at work in the future, preparing the way for us. We don't have to carry the weight of tomorrow's burdens today. The path ahead is already in His hands, and we can trust that He will lead us through it, step by step. So, what does it look like to truly live in the present? It's about finding moments of stillness, even in the chaos. It's about taking a deep breath and letting go of the worry that so easily overwhelms us. It's about embracing the beauty of now, knowing that each day is a gift and that God is right here with us, guiding us through the moments that make up our lives. We don't have to have all the answers today. We don't need to know exactly what tomorrow will bring. What we need is to trust that, no matter what comes, God is faithful, and He will give us everything we need to face it. This is the promise He offers us, the promise of His presence, His care, and His provision every step of the way. As we go through our days, let's remind ourselves to live in the present, to trust God with our future, to know that the worries of tomorrow are not ours to carry. Today is enough, and with God's help, we can face it with peace, joy, and confidence in His love. So, let's take it one step at a time, knowing that each day is a new opportunity to trust in His faithfulness and to experience His peace in the midst of life's uncertainties. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Matthew 5 verse 8. These powerful words of Jesus offer not just a promise, but a pathway to a deeper, more fulfilling relationship with God. The idea of a pure heart isn't about outward perfection or flawless actions. It's about the condition of our inner being. It's about having a heart that is free from deceit, resentment, and malice. A heart that seeks God above all else and reflects His love and purity to the world around us. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in external appearances and the pursuit of things that seem to matter most: success, wealth, popularity, and recognition. But Jesus calls us to a different kind of purity, one that isn't concerned with what others see but what God sees within us. It's about cultivating a heart that is free from the clutter of anger, bitterness, and self-interest. It's about cleaning out the corners of our hearts where sin and negativity have taken root and making space for the love, peace, and grace of God to dwell. Purity of heart is not about perfection. It's not about living without fault, because no one can achieve that. Instead, it's about a heart that is sincere in its desire to love and honor God. It's about seeking purity in our thoughts, actions, and intentions, longing to live in alignment with God's will, to be vessels of His love, and to reflect His character in all that we do. Have you ever experienced a moment of deep peace, when you felt connected to something greater than yourself? A moment when everything just seemed to fall into place, and you knew deep down that you were exactly where you were meant to be? That peace often comes from a pure heart, a heart that is fully surrendered to God's will and trusting in His guidance. When we choose to cleanse our hearts, to release the things that cause division within us, we open ourselves up to a deeper experience of God's presence. Purity doesn't mean we won't face struggles, temptations, or moments of doubt. But it does mean that when we allow God to purify our hearts, we can face those challenges with a peace that surpasses understanding. We are no longer weighed down by the baggage of unforgiveness or hidden bitterness. We are no longer chained to past mistakes or regrets. Instead, we walk in freedom, with hearts that are clean and hearts that are open to God's love. Consider this for a moment. How often do we let the burdens of life, the pain of past experiences, or the expectations of others cloud our hearts? These things can block our ability to see clearly, not just in terms of our relationships with others, but in our relationship with God. A pure heart, however, allows us to see things as they truly are. It allows us to see God working in our lives, even in the midst of trials. It helps us recognize the beauty in the small moments and the blessings that are often hidden beneath the surface of our daily lives. When Jesus promises that the pure in heart will see God, He isn't just speaking about a future, heavenly encounter. He's talking about the ability to experience God's presence here and now, in our daily lives. When we choose to purify our hearts, we open ourselves up to the intimate connection with God that we were always meant to have. It's like clearing the fog from a window. Once the view is unobstructed, we can see more clearly. And when we can see more clearly, we can understand God's purpose for our lives, recognize His presence in our circumstances, and feel His peace in our hearts. Purity of heart also leads to greater peace within ourselves. The more we allow God to purify our hearts, the less space there is for anxiety, fear, and turmoil to take hold. Our hearts become aligned with God's will, and in that alignment, we find a sense of peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. This peace isn't fleeting or fragile. It's the kind of peace that can weather any storm, the kind of peace that comes from knowing that God is in control and that we are loved by Him no matter what. Purity, however, is not an end point but a continuous journey. Every day, we are presented with opportunities to purify our hearts, whether through forgiveness, kindness, humility, or simply seeking God's presence. It's a process of constantly letting go of the things that weigh us down and drawing closer to the heart of God. It's about turning our hearts toward Him and allowing His love to transform us from the inside out. What does it look like for you to purify your heart today? Is there something you need to release, an old hurt, a negative thought, a habit that keeps you from fully surrendering to God? Purity of heart is not about perfection. It's about a willingness to allow God to work in us, to remove the things that stand in the way of His love, and to grow in His likeness. As we do this, we will find that we not only experience greater peace, but we also draw nearer to God. And in His presence, we will be able to see Him in ways we never thought possible. So let us seek purity in our hearts, not for the sake of perfection, but for the sake of a deeper connection with God. Let us allow Him to cleanse us, to transform us, and to guide us in the path of peace. And as we do, we will find ourselves experiencing the incredible promise of seeing God, not just in the future, but in every moment, every relationship, and every aspect of our lives.